Welcome. This is a talk about Zenchor. You're looking to have an event and you'd like to have the music playlists uh, created by everybody attending, then this could be something that you're interested in trying out. Because we're at the very initial stages of development, there's not a lot of documentation and things are still a little bit hard to figure out how to use. So this video should give some clarification on nomenclature as well as how to get started. So this is the initial welcome screen. The URL at the moment says localhost 3000, which is just for local development. The actual URL that you'd use is zenchor.com. So that's core as in chorus, so CHOR. Yeah, so the first thing I would encourage you to do is to read through the vision and goals and to get more familiar with that. But if you're ready to sort of dive in and get started, you would click on sign up and then put in your email address, at which point you'll be sent a link to your email, which you can click on and then set up your password, which has to contain one uppercase character and one special character. I don't think that's mentioned on that page, so just so you know. And once you've signed up, you'd be able to log in. So I'll go ahead and log in. And you're greeted with this page. And the first thing that you want to do if you're creating an event is to either go to browse events, then you can click on create event, or you can go to the burger menu at the top left here and just click create event from that menu. And then you can pick a title for the event that you're having. So that might be summer playlist. Well, that's an example. Barbecue, birthday. You can pick in a date, so that's just to help ordering it in the event list. And a time. Location as well. It's just information really to help remember. If you want to put an address in there, you can do that. And then you can have a description about the event. Again, it's just to help you remember and help categorize your playlists. And probably the most important one is the mood, which will tell your guests give them a bit of guidance on what to put into the playlist. So if you have no preference at all, you can put that in there. Everyone just share what you're feeling. But if you're going for more of like an emo theme or hardcore, or you don't want certain genres of music, you could put that in here so people know, okay, like I'm gonna try and match what's expected. So you just go ahead and click create, and then we can see in the event list our event here, and it says that we have no music contributed. So the the two actions that you probably care about doing is inviting people to an event and adding music to an event. And both of those can be done by clicking on the event and being taken to the event details page. So from here, we get a summary of the details as well as the it shows us here about adding music contribution to the event. So that's where we can do that. Or if we're interested in inviting people to the event, we can do that either by copying the URL down here, uh, or we can copy some example text here, which we can send to somebody, which also contains the URL, or we can craft our own text message telling people to join. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to add music to an event. So it's asking us to create a core, and a core can be thought of as a recipe that defines how to get values or music. And yeah, that recipe gets turned into like music uh, and eventually a playlist. So I want to go ahead and create a new one. You can also reuse existing ones, so they'll pop up in the list. And next to you'll see core status here. This will change and update as you fill it out. So eventually that will say complete or valid, letting you know that everything's good to go and it's successfully been added. So the name is mainly so that you can reuse it in different events, but it's not necessary or required. And the description is also for your own purposes, just to help remember what's what what's inside. So at the moment, you don't need to worry about the type of collection. The only one that's available is tracks. So you're going to be making a core that is a collection of tracks or music. And we do that by clicking Add Group. And the part that we're interested in is the selection method. So we can go ahead and click on that, and we have two options available to us. We can either select tracks from a playlist or from an API, and I'll go over both of those. But we'll start with selecting tracks from a playlist. So if we click on that, it'll ask us which service we plan to use. And the only option is Spotify at the moment. And it's going to ask us how we want to import from Spotify. And the only option at the moment is to upload a CSV file. And that might sound a little bit daunting, but it's not too bad. So once you select that, it's going to show you a little bit of some instructions on how to do that. We start by clicking on this link here, which brings up this app which we can use to export playlists. And we click on the Get Started button, which is a little bit invisible because it's grey, but yeah, that's the one you want to click on, Get Started. And after agreeing, so I'm already logged in with my Spotify account, but if you weren't, you'd have to, sign in and agree to give the app permission to view your account. Then you select a playlist that you want to export. If none of the playlists that you have are music that you want to add to the event, then you would go to your Spotify account, create a playlist as per usual containing the tracks that you want to add, and then you'd come here, refresh the page, and then you'd click export. For this demo, I'll just click on liked songs, so I want to just export all of my liked songs and add those. So waiting for it to be done here, it says exporting. And we see that like it's downloaded to our browser, the CSV file. So if we jump back to Zenchor, we can then go to the last step here, upload the exported CSV file and import to your Zenchor account via the button above. So just clicking on that button and selecting, and then we just wait for that to upload. and it's completed. So yeah, if we look up, we can see the status of the selection group is showing that that's complete, and the status of the overall core is also complete and valid, meaning that uh, this will now, yeah, it was successfully added music to the event. And so this method was by exporting our tracks from Spotify and adding them that way. So the next method that we can use is through an API, and the only API that we support at the moment is Last.fm, which is a music service that enables you to track which music you listen to, independent of the way that you listen to that music. So if you listen on Spotify, or if you listen using another music player, you can set it up such that it will communicate with Last.fm and track your music listening history. And they enable us to query and ask for your recently played songs. So I believe, yeah, that returns the last 50 tracks that you've recently listened to. Or we can ask it to give us your top tracks, which requires a time range. So you can say, okay, give me what are my top tracks over the last 3 months, and both of those methods require you to put in a username, your Last.fm username, and you can just to make sure you haven't made any typos or anything, you can verify that. And supposing that's actually a real username, that's surprising. That one is not. So it'll let you know, okay, like there's um, you've typed in the right username. And if you've done that, it'll also say, the selection group will say complete. You've entered in all the information that you require. The other options you have with the Last.fm is to import tracks based on top tracks by country. So that asks you which country. So if you're interested in adding top tracks of a certain, let's say Australia or whatever, Brazil, Germany, you can do that. Or you could just say, give me all the top tracks on Last.fm at the moment. So those are other ways of selecting music. Yeah, note at the moment we don't have our own sort of music selector or way to create and select music from within the app. You either have to do it from, yeah, Spotify, or using Last.fm API. Those are the only two methods we have at the moment. So after doing that, uh, it shows us now in the event detail page that we've added a contribution, and it's also going to show us on the event list that we've now added music. So we don't need to worry about that. That's been done. We can forget about it. We can, yeah, edit that if we'd like at a later date. Up to us. So yeah, the next thing to do would be to invite users to the event, which I can show you how that looks. I open up a new private browser and visit the invite link. It's going to say you're invited, has the name of the event, some of the information that we put in, and I believe the description and mood would also show, but I didn't put one in. I can just verify that real quick by editing the event. This is our description. This the mood of the event. Okay, so it doesn't show the description or the mood. I thought it did, but something still to be worked on. It's just going to show you this overview where and then users can either sign up if they haven't yet signed up or log in, and it should add them to the event and take them to the event detail page on login or when they complete the sign up. And then the invited guests would be able to, from there, um, click add music and then add music similar to how I showed before. Um, there is no notification system at the moment that lets you know when people join your event. However, we do have the participants count, which is shown on the event list or on the event details, which will update as soon as they have added music to the event. After, not just they have to accept the invite and then actually add music. At which point in time this will update, and there is no way to see who has joined, just that someone has joined. And the idea would be that just before the event's about to start, maybe a day before, 2 days, after giving people a bit of time to add their music contributions, or perhaps on the day itself or right before it starts, you can come over from the event details page down to the bottom, and there's the generate and download playlist CSV button, which is how we can create the playlist and then import it following these instructions here into Spotify to listen to it. So we just click on that generate button, and it's going to take a short moment. I think getting the tracks from Last FM and from our contribution. And for some reason that didn't work. I'll have to debug why there was an error, but uh, let's just pretend that that worked and that a little download would have occurred of a file. And then after that, we just click on this button, click choose file, uh, click on the file that we have, and then that will take a short moment to process and to add that into your Spotify account. And when that's finished, you'd be able to go to Spotify and play that just as you would a normal playlist. Um, so that's, I think, all you really need to know at the moment. It's fairly simple once you get used to other ideas. But yeah, give it a go. And if you have any feedback, either you can give it to me in person or you can reach me at info@zenchor.com. Thank you.